Gentlemen, let's have an honest conversation about the first cup of coffee you drink in the morning. For many men over 50, that cup is not just a drink. It is a ritual. It is the signal that the day has started. It is the thing you reach for when your energy feels low, your brain feels slow, and your body needs a push. But let me ask you something. What if your morning coffee is waking you up, but not truly supporting the systems that matter most after 50? What if it gives you a quick jolt, but does not support your blood vessels, your metabolism, your focus, your stamina, or your long-term vitality? And what if the answer is not to drink more coffee, but to make that one cup work smarter? I am Dr. Adrian, and today I want to show you how to think about coffee differently. Not as a miracle drink, not as a replacement for medication, not as a shortcut to youth, but as a daily habit you can upgrade with a few simple ingredients that may support circulation, energy, blood sugar balance, inflammation control, and overall male health when used wisely. And I want you to stay with me until the end, because I am also going to show you the mistake many men make when they start adding healthy ingredients to coffee. It sounds harmless, it sounds natural, but if you have high blood pressure, diabetes, acid reflux, heart rhythm problems, high cholesterol, or you take certain medications, that mistake can work against you. So today is not about hype. It is about smart coffee, safe coffee, purposeful coffee, coffee that supports the man you are now, not the man you were at 25. Before we begin, tell me where you are watching from today. Your city, your country, wherever you are. I like knowing who is listening, because this conversation is for men who are tired of vague advice and want clear, practical health information they can actually use. Now let's begin with the problem. Plain coffee can feel powerful. You drink it, and within minutes your brain wakes up. You feel more alert, your mood lifts, your body feels like it has been switched on. But for many men over 50, plain coffee also has a pattern. A strong lift, then a drop. A burst of energy, then mid-morning fatigue. A sharper mind, then irritability. A little motivation, then another cup. And by 10 or 11 in the morning, you may already be reaching for coffee number 2 or something sweet, just to keep moving. That is not because coffee is bad. Coffee can be part of a healthy lifestyle for many people. The problem is when coffee becomes the only tool you use to force your body into motion. After 50, your body's needs change. Your blood vessels may not be as flexible as they used to be. Your blood sugar may not stay as steady. Your inflammation level may be higher. Your sleep may be lighter. Your muscle mass may be lower. Your stress hormones may be more easily triggered. And your recovery may not be as fast. So if all you do is pour caffeine on top of those changes, you may feel awake for a short time, but you are not necessarily supporting the root systems that create real energy. Real energy is not just stimulation. Real energy comes from stable blood sugar, healthy circulation, good sleep, balanced stress, muscle health, and proper nutrition. That is why your coffee cup matters. Because you already drink it. You already have the habit. You do not need a new complicated routine. You need to make an existing routine more intelligent. Now, I want to be clear from the start. No ingredient in coffee is going to cure erectile dysfunction. No spice is going to replace medical care. No powder is going to reverse aging. And if you have ongoing performance problems, chest pain, shortness of breath, uncontrolled diabetes, high blood pressure, or sudden changes in sexual function, you should speak to a healthcare professional. Sometimes performance issues are not just bedroom issues. Sometimes they are early signals from the blood vessels, heart, nerves, hormones, or metabolism. A wise man does not ignore those signals. But at the same time, there are simple daily choices that can support the body, and your morning coffee can become one of those choices. Today, I want to walk you through 5 possible coffee additions: Ceylon cinnamon, unsweetened cocoa, maca powder, a small amount of MCT oil or a safer fat option, and ginger. But more importantly, I want to explain how to use them responsibly, because the goal is not to throw everything into your coffee tomorrow morning. The goal is to understand what each ingredient may do, who should be careful, and how to build a simple routine that does not overwhelm your body. Let's start with the first one: Ceylon cinnamon. Cinnamon is one of the easiest additions because most people already know the flavor. It makes coffee warmer, smoother, and more satisfying. But cinnamon is not just about taste. Cinnamon contains plant compounds called polyphenols, and these compounds may help support healthier blood sugar response in some people. Why does that matter for men over 50? Because blood sugar and blood flow are connected. When blood sugar is frequently high, especially over years, it can damage the delicate lining of blood vessels. That lining is called the endothelium. Think of the endothelium as the inner skin of your blood vessels. When it is healthy, blood vessels relax better. Blood moves more smoothly. Circulation works more efficiently. But when blood sugar, inflammation, and oxidative stress damage that lining, blood vessels can become stiffer and less responsive. This can affect the heart, it can affect the brain, it can affect the legs, and yes, it can affect male performance. So when we talk about blood sugar, we are not only talking about diabetes numbers, we are talking about the long-term health of the vascular system. Now, does cinnamon magically control blood sugar? No, it does not replace a good diet. It does not replace medication. It does not give permission to eat sugar all day. But a small amount of cinnamon may support a more stable metabolic pattern when used as part of a healthy routine. The important detail is the type of cinnamon. The common cinnamon in many grocery stores is often cassia cinnamon. Cassia cinnamon contains more coumarin, a natural compound that may be hard on the liver in high amounts or with long-term heavy use, especially in sensitive people. Ceylon cinnamon is often called true cinnamon, and it generally contains much lower coumarin levels, so if you plan to use cinnamon daily, Ceylon is usually the better choice. You do not need a lot. A quarter teaspoon in coffee is enough for most people to start. Maybe up to half a teaspoon if you tolerate it well. Do not dump in large amounts. More is not better. Consistency is better. And if you take diabetes medication, blood thinners, liver medication, or you have liver disease, talk with your doctor before using cinnamon heavily or taking cinnamon supplements. Now, emotionally, this is why cinnamon matters. Many men wake up and immediately spike themselves with plain caffeine. They feel alert, but also slightly wired. Cinnamon can make the coffee feel warmer and more grounded. It turns the first cup from a harsh stimulant into something more steady. That may sound small, but after 50, small steady habits matter. The next addition is unsweetened cocoa powder. Not hot chocolate mix, not sweetened cocoa, not chocolate syrup. I am talking about plain dark unsweetened cocoa powder. 1 teaspoon in coffee can turn it into a rich, sugar-free mocha-style drink. But the real reason cocoa matters is not the taste. It is the flavonols. Cocoa contains flavonols, plant compounds that may support endothelial function and nitric oxide activity. Now let me explain nitric oxide in plain language. Nitric oxide is a signaling molecule that helps blood vessels relax and open. When blood vessels relax, blood can flow more easily. This matters for blood pressure. It matters for exercise. It matters for heart health. It matters for the brain. And it matters for male performance, because healthy erections depend heavily on good blood vessel function. But nitric oxide production can decline with age, inactivity, smoking, diabetes, high blood pressure, and poor vascular health. So anything that supports the blood vessel lining in a healthy way deserves attention. Cocoa flavonols are one of those things. Again, not magic, not medication, not instant performance. But as part of a healthy lifestyle, cocoa may support vascular health. Here is where many men ruin the benefit. They use sugary chocolate powder. That defeats the purpose. If you add a chocolate mix loaded with sugar, you may spike blood sugar and work against the very blood vessel health you are trying to support. So choose unsweetened cocoa. Start with 1 teaspoon. If it tastes too bitter, you can add a very small amount of stevia or monk fruit if those agree with your body. But do not turn this into dessert coffee. The goal is not sweetness. The goal is support. Now, cocoa also has a psychological benefit. It makes coffee feel satisfying, richer, deeper, more complete. And when a healthy habit feels enjoyable, you are more likely to repeat it. That matters because the body does not change from one heroic day. It changes from repeated daily signals. Now let's move to the third ingredient, maca powder. Maca is a root from Peru, and it has become popular in men's health because some studies suggest it may support sexual desire, mood, and general well-being in some people. But I want to be very careful here. Maca is often called natural Viagra online. I do not like that phrase. It is misleading. Viagra works through a specific drug mechanism that affects blood flow. Maca does not work like that. Maca is not an emergency performance pill. It is not something you take today and expect a dramatic result tonight. If maca helps, it usually works more gradually, possibly through effects on well-being, stress adaptation, energy perception, and desire. The research is interesting, but not strong enough to make wild claims. So why mention it? Because some men over 50 are not only dealing with blood flow. They are dealing with low drive, low mood, low motivation, stress, feeling disconnected from the man they used to be. And maca may be worth considering as a gentle nutritional addition for some men, as long as expectations are realistic. It has a nutty, slightly earthy taste. In coffee, it can give a malt-like flavor. Start small, half a teaspoon. Do not begin with a large scoop. Your digestion needs time to adjust. Some people get bloating or stomach discomfort from maca. If you have thyroid problems, hormone-sensitive conditions, or you take medication, ask your healthcare professional before using maca regularly. And here's the key point. Do not use maca to avoid seeing a doctor. If your desire has dropped suddenly, if erections are consistently weaker, if you have fatigue, depression, low mood, or loss of strength, you may need proper evaluation. Testosterone, blood sugar, blood pressure, sleep apnea, thyroid, medication side effects, stress, heart health. All of these can matter. Maca may support some men, but it is not a substitute for understanding the real cause. Now let's talk about the fourth addition. This one needs the most caution. MCT oil, or sometimes coconut oil. You may have heard of putting oil in coffee. Some people call it bulletproof coffee. They say it gives steady energy, mental clarity, and appetite control. There is some logic here. Fat slows gastric emptying. That means caffeine may feel smoother for some people. MCTs are medium-chain triglycerides, and they are processed differently than many other fats. They can be used relatively quickly for energy. But here is where the internet goes too far. Some people claim coconut oil, or MCT oil, will boost testosterone, melt fat, transform performance, and create all-day power. That is not responsible. MCT oil can be useful for some people, but coconut oil is high in saturated fat. And if you have high LDL cholesterol, heart disease risk, diabetes, or a history of cardiovascular problems, adding coconut oil to coffee every day may not be a smart choice. This is especially important for men over 50 because heart health and performance health are connected. The arteries that supply the heart and the arteries that support sexual function are part of the same vascular system, so we should not chase a performance benefit while ignoring cholesterol risk. If you want to try MCT oil, start very small. Half a teaspoon, maybe 1 teaspoon if tolerated. Do not start with a tablespoon. Too much can cause diarrhea, stomach cramps, nausea, or urgent bathroom trips. And if you have gallbladder issues, pancreatitis history, liver disease, high cholesterol, or heart disease, speak to your doctor first. You may not need MCT oil at all. For many men, a better option is to have coffee with a balanced breakfast that contains protein and healthy fats from whole foods. Eggs with vegetables, Greek yogurt with nuts, avocado with a meal, fish, olive oil and food. The point is not to force oil into coffee. The point is to avoid turning coffee into a spike and crash experience. If a tiny amount of MCT helps you feel steady and your doctor says it is fine, that may be okay. But do not treat fat coffee as automatically healthy. It depends on the man, it depends on the dose, it depends on the heart, it depends on the blood work. Now let's move to the fifth ingredient. Ginger. Ginger is one of the most underrated additions because it supports several systems at once. It has a warm, sharp flavor. It can help with digestion for some people. It contains active compounds such as gingerols and shogaols. These compounds have anti-inflammatory and antioxidant properties. Ginger may also support circulation in a general sense, partly because inflammation and blood vessel function are connected. But again, we must avoid exaggeration. Ginger is not rocket fuel for testosterone. It is not a guaranteed performance booster. It is not a cure for erectile dysfunction, but it can be a useful, warming, circulation-supportive ingredient for some men when used in small amounts. A quarter teaspoon of ginger powder is enough to start, or use a very thin slice of fresh ginger. Do not overdo it. Ginger can irritate the stomach in some people. It can worsen reflux for some. And importantly, ginger may interact with blood thinners or medications that affect bleeding risk. If you take warfarin, aspirin, clopidogrel, apixaban, rivaroxaban, or any blood thinner or antiplatelet medication, talk with your doctor or pharmacist before using ginger daily in larger amounts. Also be careful if you take diabetes medication, because ginger may affect blood sugar in some people. Small food amounts are usually different from high-dose supplements, but daily use still deserves common sense. Now let's pause, because at this point, some of you may be thinking, Dr. Adrian, am I supposed to put all 5 of these into 1 cup every morning? No, absolutely not. That is one of the biggest mistakes. The goal is not to turn your coffee into a medicine cabinet. The goal is to choose intelligently. 1 or 2 additions may be enough. You do not need everything. In fact, if you add too many things at once, you will not know what is helping and what is bothering your body. If your stomach hurts, was it ginger? Was it maca? Was it MCT oil? Was it too much coffee? You will not know. So start slowly. 1 ingredient at a time. That is how a smart man tests a habit. Now let me give you the safest beginner approach. Start with Ceylon cinnamon. Just a quarter teaspoon in your morning coffee. Do that for 1 or 2 weeks. Notice your energy. Notice your cravings. Notice your blood sugar if you monitor it. Notice whether the coffee feels smoother. Then, if you tolerate cinnamon well, consider adding unsweetened cocoa. 1 teaspoon. Now you have a simple cinnamon cocoa coffee. Warm, rich, low sugar, more satisfying than plain coffee. For many men, that is enough. If you want to experiment further, you can try maca on a separate week. Half a teaspoon. See how your digestion feels. See how your mood and energy feel. Do not expect overnight results. If maca does anything for you, it may take weeks. If you want to try MCT oil, be cautious. Half a teaspoon. Blend it properly. Do not just stir it and leave oil floating on top. But again, if you have cholesterol or heart concerns, talk with your clinician first. And ginger, use it when you want warmth, digestive support, and a stronger flavor. A small pinch may be enough. Now let me give you a simple coffee upgrade plan. Week 1, Ceylon cinnamon only. Week 2, Ceylon Ceylon cinnamon plus unsweetened cocoa. Week 3. Try maca separately, or add a small amount if you tolerated the first two well. Week 4. Decide whether you truly need MCT oil or ginger. Do not add them just because they sound powerful. Add them only if they fit your body. This is how you build a routine without overwhelming yourself. Now, there is another issue we must discuss. Caffeine. Some men drink coffee as if more is always better, but more caffeine can backfire. Too much caffeine can increase anxiety. It can worsen sleep. It can trigger palpitations. It can aggravate acid reflux. It can raise blood pressure temporarily in some people. It can make you feel wired but tired. And poor sleep is one of the fastest ways to damage testosterone, blood sugar, appetite control, mood, and performance. So if your coffee habit is ruining your sleep, it is not helping your vitality. It is stealing from tomorrow to pay for today. That is why timing matters. For many men, coffee is best earlier in the day. Avoid drinking it late afternoon or evening if it affects your sleep. If you are sensitive to caffeine, reduce the amount. If you have palpitations, uncontrolled blood pressure, panic attacks, reflux, or heart rhythm problems, discuss caffeine with your doctor. Coffee should support your day. It should not control your nervous system. Now I want to talk about the emotional side, because men often pretend this is only about energy, but it is not. When a man over 50 starts losing drive, stamina, confidence, or reliable performance, it can hit him deeply. He may not say it out loud. He may joke about it. He may avoid the conversation. He may tell himself, this is just age. But inside, he feels the loss. He feels less certain, less connected, less like himself. And that can affect his relationship, his mood, his confidence, and even the way he walks through the world. So when I talk about upgrading coffee, I am not saying a spice fixes a man's life. I am saying that small daily actions can become a turning point. They remind you that you are not helpless. They remind you that your body still responds to care. They remind you that aging does not mean giving up control. One better morning habit can lead to another. Better coffee can lead to better breakfast. Better breakfast can lead to steadier blood sugar. Steadier blood sugar can lead to better energy. Better energy can lead to more movement. More movement can improve circulation. Better circulation can support confidence. That is how change begins, not with one magic ingredient, with a chain of better signals. Now let's talk about a man I will call Robert. Robert is 58. He drinks 2 or 3 cups of coffee every morning. He says he needs it to function. But by late morning, he is tired. By afternoon, he is foggy. At night, he sleeps poorly. He wakes up feeling unrefreshed, and he has noticed that his confidence is not what it used to be. At first, he thinks the answer is stronger coffee, then more coffee, then energy drinks. But that only makes the cycle worse. His nervous system is overstimulated, but his body is undersupported. So instead of increasing caffeine, Robert changes the structure. He keeps one morning coffee. He adds Ceylon cinnamon and unsweetened cocoa. He stops adding sugar. He eats a real breakfast with protein. He moves his second coffee earlier or removes it. He stops caffeine late in the day. He improves sleep. He starts walking after meals. After a few weeks, he does not feel magically 25, but he feels more stable, less jittery, less dependent, more in control. That is the goal. Not a fake miracle, a real improvement in the pattern. Now let's make the 5 ingredients easy to remember. Cinnamon is the metabolic stabilizer. It may support blood sugar balance when used wisely, especially if you choose Ceylon and keep the amount small. Cocoa is the vascular supporter. Its flavonols may support nitric oxide and endothelial function, especially when you use unsweetened cocoa and avoid sugar. Maca is the adaptogen. It may support desire, mood, and well-being in some men, but it is gradual, and the evidence is still limited. MCT oil is the energy smoother. It may make caffeine feel steadier for some people, but it must be used carefully because fats, especially coconut oil, are not automatically heart-healthy. Ginger is the warming anti-inflammatory spice. It may support digestion and general circulation, but it requires caution with blood thinners, reflux, and certain medications. Now here is the 5-second version for beginners. If you want the simplest routine, do this. Use only Ceylon cinnamon and unsweetened cocoa. That is the safest, easiest starting point for many men. A 1/4 teaspoon of Ceylon cinnamon, 1 teaspoon of unsweetened cocoa. Add them to coffee, stir well. No sugar, no syrup, no whipped cream. No dessert disguised as health, just a simple upgraded coffee. If you tolerate that well, you can explore other ingredients later. Now, if you want a stronger routine, do not make it complicated. Prepare a small jar with Ceylon cinnamon and unsweetened cocoa. Keep it beside your coffee. Every morning, add 1 small spoon of that blend. That is it. Do this for 30 days. But while you do it, track the right things. Do not just ask, do I feel something? Be specific. How is your energy from 8 to noon? Do you crash at 10? Do you crave sugar? Do you feel jittery? How is your focus? How is your sleep? How is your digestion? How is your blood pressure if you monitor it? How is your blood sugar if you have diabetes and your doctor has advised monitoring? How is your overall confidence? Write it down, because what gets measured becomes easier to understand. Now, let me be very clear about who should be more careful. If you have uncontrolled high blood pressure, heart rhythm problems, severe acid reflux, liver disease, kidney disease, diabetes on medication, bleeding disorders, or you take blood thinners, talk with your doctor before using these ingredients daily in supplement-like amounts. If you are scheduled for surgery, ask your healthcare team about herbs and supplements. If you feel chest pain, severe shortness of breath, fainting, sudden weakness, or severe dizziness, do not treat that with coffee ingredients. Get medical help. This video is about daily support. It is not emergency care. Now I want to correct one more dangerous idea. Natural does not always mean safe. Cinnamon is natural, but too much cassia cinnamon may be hard on the liver. Ginger is natural, but it may affect bleeding risk. Maca is natural, but it may not be right for every hormone-related condition. Coconut oil is natural, but it is high in saturated fat. Coffee is natural, but too much caffeine can hurt sleep and raise symptoms in sensitive people. So the mature view is simple. Use natural tools with respect, not fear, not obsession, respect. Now let's bring this back to your morning. Tomorrow, when you stand in front of your coffee, I do not want you thinking, how can I make this stronger? I want you thinking, how can I make this smarter? Because after 50, smarter beats stronger. A smarter cup does not overstimulate you. It supports you. A smarter cup does not create a sugar crash. It helps you avoid one. A smarter cup does not pretend to cure performance issues. It supports the system's performance depends on. A smarter cup does not ignore your heart. It respects your heart. That is the difference. Now let's build a simple final plan. First, reduce sugar in coffee. If your coffee is full of sugar, syrup, sweet creamer, or flavored additives, fix that before adding anything else. Second, choose one helpful addition. Ceylon cinnamon is the easiest starting point. Third, add unsweetened cocoa if you want a richer drink with vascular supporting flavanols. Fourth, only consider maca if you understand it is gradual, not instant. Fifth, be cautious with MCT or coconut oil, especially if cholesterol or heart health is a concern. Sixth, use ginger in small amounts and be careful with medications. Seventh, protect your sleep. No coffee upgrade can overcome bad sleep. Eighth, treat ongoing performance problems as a health signal, not a personal failure. That last point matters most. If your body is changing, do not shame yourself. Investigate, support, correct, get checked, make better daily choices. That is how dignity returns. Not by pretending nothing is wrong, not by buying every supplement, not by chasing extreme promises, but by becoming the kind of man who listens to his body and responds wisely. Now I want to speak directly to the man watching who feels like he has lost some of his spark. Maybe your mornings are not what they used to be. Maybe your energy is not as steady. Maybe you do not feel as sharp. Maybe your confidence has quietly taken a hit. I want you to know this. You are not alone. And you are not finished. Aging changes the body, yes. But many men give up too early because they think every change is permanent. Sometimes the body is not asking you to surrender. It is asking you to support it differently. Better sleep, better movement, better blood sugar, better circulation, better food, better stress control, better medical follow-up. And yes, even a better morning coffee. Small changes are not small when you repeat them every day. A quarter teaspoon of cinnamon is small. 1 teaspoon of cocoa is small. Removing sugar from coffee is small. Stopping late caffeine is small. Taking a walk after breakfast is small. But together, these small signals tell the body, we are taking care of you now. And the body often responds to that, not instantly, not dramatically, but steadily. That is real vitality, not fake youth, not hype, real vitality. The kind that lets you wake up with more control, move through the day with more confidence, and feel proud that you are taking responsibility for your health. So tomorrow morning, do not just pour coffee. Build a better cup. Start simple. Ceylon cinnamon. Unsweetened cocoa. No sugar. A real breakfast. Coffee early enough that it does not ruin sleep. Then pay attention. Your body will tell you what works. And if you choose to explore maca, ginger, or MCT oil, do it slowly, cautiously, and with medical common sense. You do not need to become a mad scientist. You need to become consistent. That is where the power is. Consistency. Gentlemen, your morning coffee can remain a habit. Or it can become a signal. A signal that you are not giving up. A signal that you are choosing smarter energy. A signal that you are protecting your circulation, your confidence, and your long-term health. Not because one ingredient is magic, but because one better choice can start a chain reaction. And after 50, that chain reaction matters. If this video helped you, share it with a man who still drinks coffee every morning but feels tired, foggy, or not like himself. He may not need another energy drink. He may need a smarter first cup. This video is for educational and informational purposes only. It is not personal medical advice and does not replace your doctor, urologist, cardiologist, dietitian, pharmacist, or healthcare team. Always speak with a qualified healthcare professional before adding supplements, herbs, concentrated powders, MCT oil, coconut oil, maca, ginger, cinnamon, or other ingredients to your daily routine, especially if you have diabetes, high blood pressure, heart disease, liver disease, kidney disease, acid reflux, bleeding risk, hormone-sensitive conditions, or if you take prescription medication. I am Dr. Adrian. Stay steady, stay sharp, stay strong. And remember this: your first cup of coffee should not just wake you up, it should support the man you are becoming.